New York City performer Christina Superstar was exuding happiness during her first photo shoot for an international magazine. But an incident of violence at one of her live shows would completely and permanently alter the course of Christina's life. Stay tuned for the tragic conclusion of the life of performer, it girl, and the subject of legendary videographer Nelson Sullivan. This is Christina Superstars Biography. It was the end of May in 1988, and Christina Superstar was at In the Dark studio for a photo shoot with photographer Liz Lizard. The photo shoot was for an article on drag performers in New York City called Superdrag, and Christina was to be one of the profiled artists, alongside the likes of RuPaul, Lahoma Van Zant, Lady Bunny, and Sister Dimension. And Christina was as happy as she would ever be, smiling and joking with Nelson Sullivan, who had arrived later to the shoot. "I can't wait to see the tape," she told Sullivan as they left the photo shoot and headed off to grab a bite. You can see all of Christina's videos at 5 9th Avenue Project YouTube channel, link below. But within days of the shoot, an event would take place that would permanently change Christina's life. In fact, by the time Christina's magazine feature was released in August of 1988, the incident would become the focus of her profile. Here is what the article Superdrag had to say about Christina, whose photo did not make it to print. "A lot of drag in the East Village is social terrorism," says Nelson, and no one exemplifies this better than Christina. Christina's nonsensical rhyming tagline, "You'll know her once you've seen her," makes perfect sense as it riddlesomely suggests once you've seen her. She's fairly tall, favors vaguely S&M flavored hot pants, matched with slightly soiled halter tops, all the better to reveal her white skin and shoulder-length flaxen hair. She sways when she walks as if completely bombed, and who is to say she's not? Her heavy-lidded expression is perfectly complemented by a narcotic drawl that sounds like the cat back from the dead in Pet Sematary. The sum total makes Nico look like Sheena Easton. Her shows are as extraordinary as her look. On one occasion, she concluded an a cappella version of Jumping Jack Flash by attacking a member of the audience with her microphone stand, causing bloodshed and bodily harm. Christina's show ended with what must have been to her an epiphany as she was led from the stage of the pyramid and into custody by 2 policemen. During a photo shoot for some of the other performers featured in the article, RuPaul, Lahoma Van Zant, and Bubblicious, whose picture makes the article but her profile does not, are having a discussion about the philosophy of drag with article's author Fenton Bailey and Nelson Sullivan. When Fenton asks them, "What about someone like Christina, say, who terrorizes people?" Bubblicious responded, quote, "I think Christina's brilliant because she is just beyond. Her thing doesn't even have anything to do with drag. She is just, I don't know what she is, I just love her though." As Fenton Bailey asks if any of them had seen the performance where Christina had attacked someone, Nelson Sullivan cuts the recording. When the recording resumes, Nelson Sullivan briskly changes the subject away from Christina. And all of this can be viewed at 5 9th Avenue Project YouTube channel, link below. After her arrest, Christina was charged and held in jail pending bail. While incarcerated, Christina phoned former love Lori Gursky, and complained about the treatment that she was receiving. She told Gursky that she was being actively denied her medication. Christina was worried about her upcoming court date, and she asked Lori to go with her to the proceedings. The level of concern that Christina had over the upcoming court date was so great that when the day came, Gursky said that Christina attended court dressed as Christopher, in what she called, quote, proper attire. For an unknown reason, the judge last minute delayed the proceedings to a later date. But by the time the new court date would arrive, Christina would be no more. As 1988 came to a close, Christina would spend New Year's at the opening of Mars nightclub as the date of Nelson Sullivan. The first 6 months of 1989 would be the last of Christina's life. And as the year began, Christina was evicted from the apartment that she had once shared with Lori. And in a full circle moment, she returned to the place where her life in New York began, the legendary Chelsea Hotel. This time to room 323. By this time, Christina and Nelson Sullivan were spending a lot of time together, and his footage of that time does much to validate Lori Gursky's claims of Christina's rapid physical deterioration during that time period. There were several other factors that may or may not have had varying degrees of effect on Christina's physical decline. Firstly, Christina told Nelson Sullivan on camera about an incident with a possible fellow resident of the Chelsea Hotel who threw acid at her, saying as soon as she felt it, she knew it was acid. Although Christina was still performing, albeit less frequently, her days as a dominatrix had come to an end. She was no longer physically able to continue, and had fewer and fewer submissives. At the same time, her drug use had increased, and Christina was also becoming less and less coherent, and was more and more often referring to what the voices were saying to her. During one screen test with Sullivan, Christina spoke of her struggle to accept the death of her dear friend Andy Anderson. She told Sullivan she had been unable to cry for him as of yet. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads from Retro Room. This brings us to the final days of Christina's life and the final 3 videos of her taken by Nelson Sullivan. A Visit with Christina, Part 1 and 2, and Nelson and Christina's Last Supper were all taken on the same night. It would be the last footage taken of Christina. Her left foot is covered in an odd sock and in flats, and she has a glove on her left hand which she uses to hold a cane to assist with her walking. When Nelson asked her about her foot, she described it as, quote, woman in a wheelchair look. It is also clear from the video that Christina's face seemed to be swollen and drooping on her left side. Her usually immaculately placed wig had the left side bang also drooping conspicuously on the left side, as if to conceal something. This evening would be the last time that Nelson would see Christina. Nelson arrives at Christina's apartment 323 at the Chelsea for a visit before the two head out to the Pyramid Club to see Jane County perform. Nelson and Christina's Last Supper picks up as Christina and Nelson are leaving the Pyramid Club to get something to eat. This video is even more significant based on timelines from Nelson Sullivan's work, Michael Alig, Lori Gursky, and others. It is the conclusion of this biography that this video was recorded mere hours before Christina Superstar died in her room at the Chelsea Hotel. She was 35 years old. in a moment of foretelling common in Sullivan's work, when Christina is greeted by an acquaintance, Christina replies, quote, "Oh, thank you, I'm already dead." In the early hours of May 27, 1989, Christina Superstar passed away in room 323 of the Chelsea Hotel. Her remains were discovered there 5 days later. Christina had to be identified by her dental records. After being informed, Christina's parents traveled to New York. Her father, Andrew Smith, was in contact with both Lori Gursky and Nelson Sullivan. As Christina's final affairs were being attended to, Lori Gursky took and kept most of Christina's artwork, except for one framed piece that was given to Nelson Sullivan. Christina's parents discussed the pending autopsy with both Gursky and Sullivan. For Lori's part, she revealed that Andrew Smith never divulged the results of the autopsy to her. Christina's parents had her remains cremated, then returned with them to Mount Lebanon. Christina's journey had finally come full circle. Over the following decades, exhibitions of Nelson Sullivan's work began popping up throughout North America and Europe, and audiences were fascinated by his dear friend Christina. And in 2002, a fictionalized Christina Superstar was portrayed in the film Party Monster by musical performer Marilyn Manson. But it was in the YouTube era that Christina would posthumously reach a cult celebrity status, when Sullivan's footage of her was uploaded to the YouTube channel 5 9th Avenue Project. And today, people from all over can be captivated by, have sympathy for, and travel back in time to take a glimpse through the lens of Nelson Sullivan at the fascinating and tragic life of Christina Superstar. So that is it for today, and that is also it for Christina Superstars Biography. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys again for my next upload. Bye, guys.